Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pushing Hajam podcast. I am your host As. Some people run to stay fit, some people run to test themselves, and then there is Lindsey who signed up for a 250-mile across the Arizona desert because curiosity wouldn't leave her alone. Not for glory, not for headlines, just to find out what happens when everything breaks. What I respect about Lindsey isn't that she finished Cocodona, it's how she did it. Through the heat, through altitude, through sleep deprivation, through emotional breakdowns, through breathing problem that should have ended it. And yet, step after step, she moved forward, second female, 13th overall, no shortcuts, no excuses. This isn't just a story about running, it's about grit, patience, and how curiosity, pure, stubborn curiosity, can drag you across the finish line when everything else fails. Lindsey didn't just run 250 miles, she showed us what it looks like to refuse to quit, even when quitting makes total sense. If you have ever wondered what it looks like to stand at the edge of what you think is impossible, this episode is for you. So let's get right into it, and please let me introduce to our guest today, Lindsey. Thank you so much for giving your time for this, and I'm really excited to hear about your journey in Cocodona.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk, and thanks for giving me an opportunity to share my story.
All right, so let's get right into it. 250 miles. What made you decide to sign for this?
Bad choices. Just kidding. Great question. So my husband actually is an ultra runner, and it was actually all his idea. He wanted to run Cocodona in 2024, and I think I said the phrase, "Oh yeah, you have to pay me to run that race." But the more he talked about it, I got, oh wait, I'm kind of interested. The curiosity just started growing. Then all of a sudden I was like, all right, I want in, and that happened. So I'm blaming my husband on this one, but I'm glad.
I was looking at your race profiles, let's call it that, and all the previous distance were around 100 miles, and you pretty much dominated your age category and even the races over there. So what made you jump from 100 to 250? That's double the distance.
Great question.
And
yeah, I have run several 100s, and by no means do I feel like I've mastered that distance. That distance still feels like a lot and is intimidating, but you do get to a point where I understand the process. So it's not as intriguing in the fact of the mystery and the adventure and the discovery. Whereas the 200-mile distance, that was just beyond what I could comprehend. And that's what made it interesting for me. So the curiosity, yeah.
While you were doing this 250, was there any moment you thought, oh, this is just too much? And were you all in for the second you saw it?
Yeah, once I committed, I definitely became all in. And there were moments leading up, especially when I did really high volume training weeks, where I was just kind of at a loss, trying to understand how I was going to run 250 miles. At my highest peak volume, it still was even close to 250 miles. So I was like, I'm tired now. How do I add on? Plus no sleep. So leading in, I just could not understand. But once I committed to signing up, I knew I was going to be in the race and I would get to the end no matter how it looked. Granted, unless I got injured or something, even if it meant I was walking the entire thing, the distance was going to happen. So just going in with that mindset. And then during the race, you really just can't think about it too much. Just break it up into small pieces. I at least did not allow myself to think, oh, I have 190 miles to go, because I think if I said something like that, yeah, that seems like way too much. And it is a lot, way too much. Mentally breaking it into small chunks and only allowing yourself to think about those small chunks. So don't even give yourself the opportunity to stop and reflect how far it really is, because it is a lot and it can easily seem like too much.
Yeah, it is a lot. And I was talking to you earlier, and I don't know how you guys did it, because I did a podcast with Cody, and I have one with Dante, and I have one with Harry as well. I'm just so eager to learn, because each one of you have a different perspective of it. And like you said, when I talked to Cody, how he broke it down was a little bit different. It's just like how we interpret and how we look at the distances is just amazing, because each of us has our way of breaking down and doing kind of things. It is very...
I was actually talking to Dante just yesterday. We're good friends. It's just so cool that we both ran the same race, the same distance, the same year, the same route. Journeys were so different. And it was just fascinating. And our results were pretty much the same. He only finished about 4 hours after me. So basically the same time for this type of thing. But we had just such different experiences. So I think it's cool that you are talking to different people, because it really is an experience more than anything.
Yep. And yeah, everybody has their own way. I don't know if you had any hallucination. We'll probably get to that. But said he didn't have any hallucination. But I posted a clip today, and he was talking about if he listened to music or not. And he said his patient said he was singing, but he doesn't remember if he was singing or not. So that was funny when he was talking about it. So I'm sure we'll find out. So when you signed up for this race, what did this race represent to you? Was this something personal? Was this something about proving yourself? Or you were just chasing something that's where you were pushing a limit?
Yeah, I think it was more just expanding myself as a runner because that distance itself was so new. And I've never done anything close to that distance. I'm doubling the farthest I've ever gone. It was more of just self-improvement as a runner, endurance world.
And you said earlier on when you were training for this, you were already tired and then you were not doing as much as volume as needed for the 250 miles. So how did you train for something like this? And can you please walk through how did your weekly mileage, volumes and effort in terms of intensity, recovery, like how was it?
Yeah. Oh, and just like clarification, I definitely ran enough than I needed to for this, but it's one of those things similar to a marathon, right? You never run the actual distance. Like training for a marathon, you never run the 26 miles, and you just have to trust the process. Same with this. You don't run 250 in a week to train for this 250 mile. So my training was a lot of high volume. That is who I am as a runner. I tend to fall into that category. I run a lot. I like running, so do what you like. Capitalize on that. I just slowly built up my mileage, and actually my training was less about running than just becoming durable, incorporating strength training. I was already doing that, but it's more like, let's not skip my strength training workouts like I tend to do. Very more motivated to get those strength training workouts in, maybe throwing in some core work and some other little things. Like overall, how can you be more durable? And that comes into nutrition too, like making sure you're eating enough protein so you're building muscles. And it was more just overall looking at the body as a whole versus just straight up go run a lot.
We as a runner, we have a problem that we don't do enough strength training, right? Especially marathon runners, we just kind of swing at it. I'm guilty of that too. I never took it seriously, even though I knew that I need to do it. So how important it is the strength training part when you are running these incredible distances?
Yeah, so as I said, I love running. That's how I became a runner. So just let me go run. And it's just too easy to like, oh, I already worked out today. I don't need to go do another workout, but it is so helpful. And so I think, I just had to remember my goal, like why am I training so I can get through this race? And so just remembering your why is helpful. And I don't know, just do it. I don't really have a good answer for that. Just make it part of your routine however you can. Honestly, okay, how did I personally make sure I did it too? I had to think about how to make it more fun personally.
Okay.
And so for that, honestly, this is probably not the answer you want, but this is what happened. I would just put Netflix on in the background. And so that's way more motivating. Like I get to go watch a show while lifting. That sounds better to me than just straight up, I'm bored, I'm lifting, and I'm just thinking about how bored I am. So I don't know. Do what you can, however you get through it.
Yeah, that makes sense. You kill two birds with one stone. You can just watch the thing you like and then you can do the workout part of it too.
Makes it a little better.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Or for worse. That's what happened a lot of the times. Yeah.
And something is better than nothing. So if that
Exactly.
is what you have to do, then it's okay.
Yeah, it's that or I skip it. I definitely know if you look at the textbook or you talk to a coach, you're supposed to be like super mind, body present when you're lifting to make that connection. But if it comes down to it, I might just skip this workout. We're going to go the Netflix route.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
Yeah, what you gonna do?
Yeah, we just have to make sure to use what we can and make it fun, like you said. So if that is how it works, then it should be okay. And when you were running Cocodona, you ran in the night time, plenty of time. But when you were actually training for something like this, did you have to mimic those things?
I chose not to actually. If I lose an hour of sleep, I feel it. If I lose 2 hours of sleep, we're done. Definitely positives of going out doing night training or sleep deprived and then going out. That's just life that happens naturally. You don't get enough sleep, you go out running. I definitely see the positives in that, but for me personally, the negatives outweighed the positives. And I'm lucky in the regard. I do have running experience through other ultras. So I threw the night a few times. So it's not brand new. I think if this was a brand new situation, I definitely would have incorporated some night running into my training to prep, but I decided not to. Yeah.
And also, physically, you can be prepared for this kind of events, right? Because you've been running so much and then you do strength train and physically you can be in a top shape. But how about mentally? How do you prep your mind for being past, let's say, mile 150?
That's a great question. I don't think I could ever be ready for that. The great unknown combined with the physical fatigue at that point, it felt like I had to cross that barrier in the moment. And mentally, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to be challenging. So I guess that's how you prep mentally. Going in, expect the obstacle. comfortable, and that's about all I needed. Just, it's going to be challenging, and you'll figure it out as you go. I don't know if that's helpful for anyone watching this, but don't overthink it, because maybe that would make it worse, honestly. Know it's going to be hard, and just take it when it comes.
True. Sometimes it's better to decide without facing it and just do what you want at that moment. Maybe it's just not to overthink, like you said, and just do what you can at that moment. That way, the pressure is off you.
Yeah, and I think also sometimes when you overthink things, you make it worse. So I did not need to add any more challenge or mental. We did not need to add to that.
It probably takes everything out of you. I don't know. How much was left after you were done inside you?
Weirdly, a lot. I thought I would be 100% depleted, like a walking zombie. Nope. I had a lot. I guess if you watched my race, I was very limited due to my breathing, which meant physically I had a lot left in the tank. And so I think that helped everything. Once I got my oxygen back up and normal, it felt really good. It was really strange. Actually, my crew, who I love them so much. I'm so lucky to have them. My pacers, it's such a team effort. We had a little dance party on the sidewalk, and just like pure fun after the race, just like celebrating. And we spent like 10 minutes just dancing. So if you were to ask me like what I'd look like post 250, I was probably gonna be like, oh yeah, horizontal, like stuck laying down somewhere, like need to be scooped up. That was not the situation. It's weird. Body surprises you sometimes, for better or for worse. Yeah.
Definitely. You don't know what your body can do until you go through it. That's what I learned from myself too, because until and unless we go through it, it can just surprise you.
Yeah, amazing.
And before the call, right, we were talking about how you transitioned from marathon to ultramarathon. So can you please give a bit of background to the viewers? So what made you go from running a road marathon to do these insane 10 marathons?
Yeah, I feel like my story is probably not super unique, but it is what it is. But I love running, so naturally I just ran a lot and then realized, oh hey, I think I can run a marathon. And then I started running marathons, and then that distance got a little too comfortable. They're extremely hard. Marathons are difficult. You have to run so fast, and you're always looking at your watch. At least for me, it's always, okay, what's my split? What's my time? Like, and calculating pacing and trying to figure out your finishing time. And then you always want a faster finishing time. And that just got the distance a little too easy. And then just, it wasn't so fun for me to always be thinking about numbers and pacing, because when it comes down to it, I just really love running. And it just became like a chore and almost just like work. Just go running. I'm not thinking about my watch. I'm not looking at my watch at all, actually. I'm not thinking about time. I'm looking at the trail. I'm looking at the view. I'm just enjoying nature. Maybe I'm with people. We're having fun talking. It's a whole different experience. And that's what I love. That's when I'm like, oops, I just spent an extra hour out on the trail because I was just having so much fun. Ultras, once I started learning about them I was a little late to the ultra train. I just didn't live in a place where none of my friends were running ultras. So I just really didn't know what they were. Where I live now is amazing. I'm in a community full of ultra runners, and it's great because people will say just casually, oh, I'm running 100K. It's normal. It's definitely not normal, but they act like it is, and I love it. Like, I found my people. But yeah, so then I just slowly started learning about ultras. Looking back now, it's hilarious just how I approached my first 50K. So I started little, like 50K, 50 mile, 100K, slowly going up the rank. But like, I just knew so little back then. Didn't even know what I didn't know. So I definitely have learned a lot in this journey. And then 100 miler, that was the one where it's kind of my sweet spot, meaning it really interests and intrigues me, and it's still really hard. And that challenge is what keeps bringing me back. I still feel very challenged by that distance. And then somehow, how did we get here? The 250. Here we are. I guess you just never know where it's going to take you. And it happens somewhat quickly, maybe in the past 3 years. So I think if I could look back at myself 5 years ago and be like, oh, hey, get ready. In 5 years, you're going to be doing a 250-mile race. Yeah. I'm not sure I would believe you. So yeah, that's my journey.
And also, this might be interesting question. It would be, is there anything beyond 250 for you?
Not right now. I'm not ready to cross that bridge. I know there's races that are longer. I know it was a slightly more than 250, and not yet, because you never know. Just not yet. Yeah. We'll keep the door slightly.
I think that will happen. As you said, progression right from a marathon to 50K and then 50 mile or 100. And I think at one point, this is going to be the same thing as that sweet spot where you are like 250. I can do it. It's going to be done. So let me see there is something out there.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. The 200 distances, I'm just not more like the 300. That's what I'm saying. I definitely venture in the 200 realm, just not above 250. Yes.
Okay.
I have thought about it, and thanks. I'm really really bad at navigating. I do so well in that race.
Is it just the navigating part where you have to do it? When you think about you did this was by no means easy thing to do because you did 250, which is insane and it's one of the hardest ultramarathon out there. And then when you think about Barkley, what is your immediate first thought about that race?
It's just a different structure, right? I would need to take classes on, as I said, navigating. Like, how do I get just the navigational issue? Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not a no, but no, there's other things on my list.
Not a no. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means it's a possibility at some point, but it's like you said, not yet.
And I think
this
it's
moment.
like what so you have to feel that passion, that desire, because training itself is hard. You need to be able to find that motivation for those rainy days or those really early wake ups, or like you have to have that inner desire to get through the training.
I had this conversation with other people before. Same thing like you love, you need to love it. And like you said, the interest, and if there's something you love about it, it can be different terrains, whatever. Same as a job too. If you love your job, then you're gonna excel at it. I think it's same thing applies to the running too. That's why a lot of people run marathon because they love running it, and you seems to love ultra marathons and 100-milers, so that's why you do more of it. It makes sense. But now going back to the Cocodona again, can you take us to the start, Black Canyon City? What were you feeling in that moment when you are in the starting line? You were like pumped up, let's go, or both of it, anxious? What were your feelings?
Yeah, so I just kind of laugh about thinking about the whole start. I don't start lines. I really don't. I don't like how many people are there. I don't like the energy. Put me on the trail by myself and I see nobody, and then I'm happy. We're good. I like people. I like my friends, but it's too many people at the start line, and that nervous energy, not a fan. So I annoy my crew and pacers, and really my husband, but I annoy them by I like to roll into the start line about 2 minutes before the race. So just let's avoid all of this. If I get there 2 minutes before, it's right on time. And we did that for Cocodona. I was like, yep, we are timing this perfectly. 2 minutes before the start. But there were so many people there and it was packed. I didn't even know what was happening, but all of a sudden my husband is literally picking me up and putting me over the fence because there's no spot for me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm that person. He's just like plopping me into the start line. I'm like, okay, here we go. And there's all these cameras because Courtney DeWalter's like right there. So it's just very overwhelming. I cannot say I enjoyed any of it. I had one authentic smile because I saw my friend Aaron off to the sideline. I didn't know who was going to be at the start line, and he yelled my name. And I was like, oh, a friend. And I waved for a moment. And then it was back to just nervousness. And then my husband told me I needed to start out fast, so I didn't because it's single track and it turns into a Congo line. He got stuck in the Congo line last year. He was really frustrated because he had to walk for 30 minutes or an hour. There's just so many people. He goes, don't let that happen to you. Go out fast. And so in my head, I was like, okay, I have directions to go out fast, but I think I took it a little excessively because if you watch the start, it's embarrassing. I am the first person out, and I'm just like way too fast in front of everybody else. I was told to go out fast. I thought everyone knew this. It was just a weird situation. Just pass. Let's get past the start. Not great, but happens.
Yeah.
Distractions.
And that was the right call. I mean, that's what I probably had done the same thing. It says run faster and you don't want to get boggled up with all those people. So yeah, I would say, yeah, I think that was planned, executed correctly.
Thank you.
And let's talk about the highs for now. The moments that made you stop and think, oh God, this is why I do it.
Yeah, we're talking about 80 hours of racing, so I'll just pick a couple. Sedona, the Red Rocks. I've never been to Sedona, so what an intro. And I hit it perfectly. It was sunrise on Wednesday morning, like a whole new place. I've never seen rocks like that. And like you're in like this cool canyon area mixed with trees and cliffs, and the color is so unique. And it was like, whoa, yes, this is why we're here. We're exploring new areas out in the wilderness. I was with a friend pacing, and he had just the best playlist on, and it was just one of those moments everything's clicking together. You're like, this is fun, this is great, I want to stay in this moment.
Yes, like I said earlier, I was from Phoenix and I was like 2 hours away, and it's so beautiful, the red rocks, and we did like a couple of hikes around the Devil Bridges or something, and there is so many places to hike there, and the scenery and this peaceful quietness, it's just amazing.
Yeah,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
yeah.
And also the low points while you were doing this, did you face any hallucinations? Were there points where you broke down? It's like the elevation is so much. Did you feel the climb where just, oh God, will this stop? And were there any other things that tried to break you down
Yeah,
while you were doing this?
and again, I have so many lows and like more highs. I said I was going to mention more. I mentioned one, but where to even choose? For this, I had a lot more lows than highs. So many. But I think that was part of what made this experience for me really meaningful because I got to practice going through many lows and very long duration of lows. I think I mentioned it earlier. I had breathing problems for the second half of the race, and it pretty much began and never left. Because of the breathing problems, you're physically not feeling well for the 125 miles of the second half. And so that can spiral you quickly into just living in a low because you're not feeling good. The lows, oftentimes, they're directly related to you're not feeling well, whether that's you're just tired or you're not eating enough. So, like, physically, you're not feeling right. And so for me, not feeling good with just trying to catch my breath, I was in many lows. And then the altitude didn't help, of course. The climbing didn't help either. I did not hallucinate, weirdly enough. I say weirdly because I hear a lot of people do. I'm glad I didn't hallucinate. I had enough going on to think about, so fine by me. But yeah, emotional breakdowns did happen at the end. You're just too tired, you cannot control your emotions. And pretty much the last hour, thank you to my pacer, and he was very patient and runs 300-mile races, so he gets it. He did not have to explain myself. I was just so frustrated with the situation that it just turned into just like emotional disappointment, because just looking at the current situation I was in, not the whole 250, I was very happy and proud of that, just how I was for the last 6 miles. It was very slow moving, and it was just not the finish I envisioned. Like, you want it, and that's how it goes. You have a plan and you have hopes and dreams, and sometimes that doesn't happen. And that was pretty much the last miles for me, is the opposite of what I was hoping for, which led to a lot of tears, many, many tears. I don't know how, honestly, you would get through Cocodona 250 without an emotional breakdown. So if there's anyone out there who just smiled the whole way, like, listen to your journey. Tell me, how did you do that?
I will let you know. I talked with Ante and Harry, and we got to see what they will say and if they felt something like this or not. Let's talk about the sleep. Were you able to take naps? Did you crash out on the trail, or were you just grinding through the fog and kept running?
Yes, sleep. That was such a fun, strategic part of this. One of my big concerns, because as I mentioned earlier, I like my sleep. I need my sleep. So how is this going to go? I have no idea. I was able to fall asleep really quick, and I really thought I wouldn't be able to. So I'm thankful for that. The first night of sleep, it's in a we agreed to disagree situation with me and my crew. They're convinced I slept. I'm convinced I didn't. But I laid down for 25. I told them 25 minutes. They gave me 45 minutes. Who knows? Who knows out there? The second night, man, I got solid hour of sleep, and that felt like 4 hours. I don't know why it felt like 4 hours, but we take that. I felt so good after the 4 hour, felt like 4 hours. I slept for 1 hour. I felt so good after that sleep. And then I never slept after that for several different reasons. But the plan definitely changed as the race evolved. I was planning on sleeping 3 times. I attempted to take a very quick 5 to 7 minute nap, but I could not fall asleep at that point. I couldn't tell you why. So we went super off plan, was like, I'm sleeping right now. I'm so tired I have to sleep. But even just being horizontal and turning the brain off was helpful. So even though I technically wasn't sleeping, it was still restful and productive. So that's my sleep situation for this race.
So you slept around 1 hour and 45 minutes, give or take.
Collectively, yeah.
Yes.
Honestly,
it is great.
if I do this again, which I think I will, I think I want to incorporate more sleep. I don't think that was enough. But if you look at the front pack, they're not sleeping much. Just less than that. So I don't know. I don't know if anyone really knows what's best. So one of those things that's probably super person dependent. And
Cody said he had a 30 minutes nap and 10 minutes. It was super. I don't know how you said you slept for 1 hour and it felt 4. That's incredible. It's like, how is that possible?
I don't know. Time out there really weird. Your perception of time really changed during the race.
And when you are sleeping, you're able to just turn off and just go right away?
The hour nap, yes, that was within a minute. And again, I'm still really not sure what happened the first nap, where my pacers said I slept. I really don't think I slept 45 minutes, so I don't have an answer. It's unclear.
And fueling, I don't know what you used and what worked for you, what didn't work for you. And when everything is shutting down practically because you're running like crazy, how did you keep anything inside you? What was your go-to things?
So unfortunately, I don't have a great answer for this. I raced enough to know that I don't have a consistent answer. Sometimes one thing works in a race and it's great, and then the next race I bring that and that doesn't doesn't work at all. I do not have a consistent fueling plan. I generally can get enough calories and carbs in. It just changes what that is race to race. So my fueling plan, not super detailed. It was basically bring a lot of options because we don't know what I'm going to want. So I had so many options, and unfortunately, fueling was not great. I had no appetite pretty much the entire race, and I was pretty much nauseous pretty much most of the race. So I stuck to gels. I ate a lot of gels and liquid calories pretty much for 4 straight days. It was liquid gels. The solid food just wasn't working for me, unfortunately, because I think I would enjoy life more with not living off of gels and liquid calories. I mean, it worked enough. It got the job done. It just wasn't fun.
What type of gel did you use?
I used some Precision, some Scratch, actually a lot of Scratch, liquid carb for that, Goose, I can't remember what else, a variety of things. I'm sure I'm missing some brands. I'm a big fan of those right now. I don't know if you've tried those. They're new to me. I don't know if they're new, but yeah, they're pretty great for a gel.
I tried so many different gels when I was in US, and when I was doing races I used to try everything, but I don't know if it worked. And when I moved here, the only thing that has ever worked are the cyst gel. Yeah, so
Tried those.
they go down easily, but it is shit when it is hot.
Okay, yeah.
When I'm running right now, I carry like a small liquid ice pack
Oh,
so that my gels are colder.
that's cool.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing. It's not a pack, so it's overnight frozen, and then I put all my gels there, so it's at least cold and
Great
it is
idea.
eatable, because it doesn't taste good when it is warmer, the cheese gel, and
Yeah.
it tastes so incredibly bad. And I was like, oh, okay, let me try this gel, and then it worked once, so I started doing that.
It's nice for you. Yeah, literally run with it.
That is the only thing that has worked. And I started eating some cake and not while running, but then I've been trying to dial in my nutrition, but I think I was doing it wrong, because you're supposed to eat gel along with the food, but I have been skipping gels and just eating food. I shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I need to eat more gel, I think.
Yeah.
Because the time is longer. I did 40 minutes and then I think 1 hour something, so not enough. And I was dying at the end of the day.
It's challenging. Harder in race settings, right? Because you're taxing your body so much and asking it to eat. Easier said than done.
So we talked about the highs and then lows and then last 6 minutes of hell for you, for instance, right? But then there is this finish line and you are crossing the flag step. And what was the first thing that hit you once you crossed the finish line? Was it like a relief, pride, disbelief, and like the madness, like you were still raging about how you didn't perform the last 6 miles?
Again, answers you probably don't want to hear, but this is my story. As soon as I crossed the finish line, I was like, where is this med tent? Where's the medic? I need a medic. I needed one like hours ago. Give me the med. And then they shooed me into a tent. I was like, oh, thank goodness, finally a medic. It was a photography tent. I was like, no, I know nightmare. I spent the last hour crying. My eyes are all puffy. I don't want to take pictures, especially with a professional camera. We do not need the details. And I was like, oh, get me out of here. I think I was too tired and just overwhelmed. So I took the photos and then I was like, can you tell me where the med tent is? They're like, oh, it's that straight over there. And then I got oxygen. I felt so much better. And I was like, wow, I felt like a human again. And then really it settles in, whoa, I just did 250 miles. The reflections were a little slower because you are tired. And it took a while. I had to reshape my thinking and I had to get out of the like right now and like the today, because Thursday as a day was not great. It was a lot emotionally tough. So I had to think about the overall, like what did I accomplish? And when you think of all of what I accomplished, getting through all those lows, pushing through the challenges, learning about a new distance, traveling a new distance, and then I was like, whoa, I'm so proud of myself. So it hit just a reframe of mind. And then we hung out at the finish line for hours, just like soaking it in, being present. I didn't turn my phone on or look at it, just like being there and enjoying everything that Cocodona had to offer and cheering on, because people were coming in still, all in from different races. There are a lot of people to cheer on at the finish. So it was just a fun finish. And the rest of the day was just celebration and hanging out with the crew. And then we started swapping stories because I couldn't talk. There was a lot of internal dialogue that I did want to communicate to my pacers. In the moment, I was just trying to breathe. And I was like catching up and hearing their side of the tale and journey. So it was really fun.
And that's pretty unique, because in this day of usually what is when somebody finishes a marathon, what you do is take a picture and put it on Instagram and whatever. But you were in that moment and you were trying to soak in what you felt, what happened, and somebody everybody else was running through and everything.
Yeah.
That's cool because a lot of us were so consumed with the social media and the likes and kudos or whatever. We just forget to enjoy the smaller things and like what you felt at that moment when you're crossing the line. It's not something that you can do it again and again, and that's like really nice, unique perspective because a lot of people don't do that. We are also addict of the social media. We are always like, let me take a selfie and let me put it there. That's how life is right now.
Yeah, honestly, so the truth of the matter is, really like a sponsor,
No.
right? I'm looking for a
Yeah.
sponsor. Any brands out there, let's talk. But they want the social media because you get it, it's a business. They're trying to sell their product.
Yeah.
So I got social media, and because I got it so recently, it's definitely not a part of me. Like simply, I have to like put reminders on my phone. Oh, post to social media. So I'm kind of on the far other end of the spectrum. Like I really could care less about my phone. Oftentimes, I put my phone on airplane mode to go to bed, and I forget to take it off airplane mode until, oh, it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon. That annoys people, I get it, but good and bad. The pros and cons.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I am lucky that I'm not addicted to my phone, at least.
Of course, you need the sponsor. And I just meant that in that moment, the phone was the last thing on our mind. You know,
Yeah,
usually
it's not natural.
everybody, yeah,
It's not
yeah.
part of my daily structure of, it's just not.
Yeah, that is really cool and amazing because I don't know a lot of people who do that. So yeah, that is really good. I think we should all do this and be in that moment rather than trying to capture everything because that's what we all do.
Yeah.
I see so many people posting videos of their run, which is fine.
Yeah,
They can
and
do
it is.
whatever they want.
I am thankful after the fact that people were taking pictures and capturing moments on camera because it is cool to go back and relive the bit, and it helps jog the memory actually. Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. So I am thankful for technology too, and the captions we got, the content from other people. Yeah.
And as you finish this race, has there any memory that you have not recollected and it comes back after looking at the pictures and like the footage that you're like, oh, I did this?
Yes, my friend Jamie, who also paced me, recorded some things, and it's great. Like one of the old-fashioned like camcord hand recorders, like not on his phone. He was carrying around this thing from like the 90s. But I was watching some footage yesterday. I don't remember this at all. It's just so ridiculous, and I'm so thankful. Like he captured the small moments, like things you can't make up. I think I'm at Jerome, so like halfway through the race, and someone's giving me an electrolyte pill, like a tablet, or it's capsule, so like a pill, and it got crushed. So just like this crushed up white powder. And he's making a joke like, oh, I pre-chewed it for you. But it's just like this white substance. And I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but this was my reaction. Oh, we're druggies now. It's just salt. It's just salt, people. It's purely just salt. Oh, we're druggies now. Then I like inhale it. And I'm looking pretty rough. We just went through the rain. I'm tired. We're at mile 125. And I'm like, don't do drugs, kids. You're going to look like this. And I'm like muddy and like wearing other people's clothing, just like all the layers. Like I look rough. And then I'm like, and it's not worth it. I'm like, what? I don't remember doing this, but I'm so glad we have this on film. So yeah, that memory. So I guess that's not necessarily a memory I came up with in my head that just popped back in. It was from film, but it was a funny moment. I just totally forgot about.
And yeah, outboard is amazing because I don't know how you guys do it because it's incredible distance, and I'm sure there will be so many memories that will keep coming
I think
back
so. I think
to you. And also, in that thought, you are sitting here right now, right? So after a week of doing this incredible race, what is still lingering in your body and mind, and what's the one thing that has not left yet?
So all of it's recovery wise been surprising to me. I think being limited on how much I could really pour out there physically because of the breathing or pace wise, I bounced back physically extremely quick. I was really surprised. I was planning on taking 2 full weeks of not running at all. That did not go to plan. I started running like 4 days later. My body felt good. They were smaller runs, they were slower runs, but like I was going to plan on 2 weeks post to do like a 30-minute run, and then 4 days later I'm doing my 30-minute run. So the body was fine, weirdly enough, but my wrist was the big thing that was really bothering me. You run 250 miles and your legs are good, but my wrist was like, oh, my wrist hurts. I think it's from the running poles, the trekking poles, tendonitis, but my wrist still hurts, so that's lingering. The body's fine, and honestly, just the catching up on sleep. And people told me this. They told me it would take a long time. It took about 2.5 weeks, as in just a couple days ago, I started feeling normal because the race started 3 weeks ago today, right? I thought surely really, oh, it'd just take a week, but it didn't. It took a solid 2.5 weeks for me just to feel less sleepy. So in the afternoons, I would just get this huge wave of just fatigue, exhaustion. I was like, I need to take a nap. And I never feel that way. I don't nap in my daily life. And every day post Cocodona was like, I just really need to take a nap. So that was new. So yeah, it's just been a really interesting and slightly different recovery post race. But overall, I'm thankful and grateful I'm not dealing with a big injury. So all things considered, I think we're doing pretty good. Yeah.
And let's hold up. You said you don't nap.
Not usually, no. Or like ever. No, I don't know. There's no nap.
I think when I was in the US, I also never napped. I lived there for 15 years. And as soon as I moved to Europe and I'm living here in Berlin right now, it's like a part of the daily life. Everybody naps. After the run, like 30 minutes power nap, and it works brilliantly.
Yeah,
I would
nap is
recommend
useful.
taking naps.
Yeah.
Yes, it is useful and everybody does it here. So I don't know, maybe it's the environment or whatever that I'm in. And in US, I never did nap. No matter how tired I was, or like I never nap. But here it's just, wow, it's everybody's doing it and it's okay to do it.
Sounds like I need to move to Europe.
Yes, definitely. It's quieter and nicer. I think the life is chill. That's how I would describe it. Because in US, everything is so fast paced and everybody is hustling and doing whatever.
Yeah.
You have to drive every way. Here the train is 5 minutes away, so you don't have to drive practically anywhere, and everybody's laid back and you just enjoy and just chill. It's nice.
Sounds lovely.
There is a race though, 100 kilometer in Berlin, so maybe you'll do it.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. And like we talked about earlier on, the next event, because you said yet, so you'll probably come back to this again, right? Next year. Is that the plan?
It is likely the plan, yes. I feel like I'm curious, and now I know the course, and I can fix the mistakes that happened. Yeah, why not? It'd be cool to get through the finish line and feel like a little more satisfied. Yeah, that was my 90%. Because I don't think you can ever cross the finish line feeling like, yep, 100%. That was my 100%. Things always go wrong, especially the longer you go. There's more opportunity for things to go wrong, but I just want to be a little closer to that. Yeah, that's everything I had.
In that thought, looking back at right now, what are the things that you could have done better?
I just need to figure out this breathing thing. That really slowed me down because there were parts that were flat or downhill or non-technical, and my muscles were good to go. My energy was there. I just could not breathe enough to run, and I would like to just be able to run those sections.
And another thought, when I was talking to Cody, he said there were some sections of the trails that had mud in it. So how did you felt at that?
Mud was crazy. And at first I thought it was just like this 3-mile stretch through the flat, like farmland field areas. Oh, it's just this field. They have to get through this field will be good. But then it never ended. There was another field of mud. And then the trail was mud. And that next trail was mud. And I was like, this is our life now. Cocodona is just like the mud fest. And I'm sorry, I already forgot the question. You were talking about mud.
Yes. I was asking, how did you navigate that terrain?
Honestly, there's nothing you can do about it. And you just have to remind yourself, everyone's going through this. Can't move. You just have to keep moving, whatever pace that's going to be. It's going to be slower, and just remember everyone's stuck with the same conditions. And the goal is just not to face plant. Like, new goal. We're not moving. We're not going for speed. We're not running this. Let's just not face plant. It was insane. It was like wearing snowshoes, heavy snowshoes, because the mud combined with the grass just made it compacted.
Yeah.
It was tough.
He slipped and he was flesh planted. That's what he told me.
That was my
What he did.
goal.
Yeah.
I did not face plant. So at least there's that.
Yeah.
So you got to change your goals on the fly. Like, we got new goals now, given the conditions.
And what were the shoes you're wearing for this particular event?
I rotated a few times, especially since it was raining and muddy, so my feet were wet a lot, so I switched shoes a lot. I wore Hoka Banda for a little bit, which are road shoes, yes, I know, but I really like them. And then I wore Hoka Stinsons, and I wore the Adidas Tarek, and there was another shoe, now that I can't remember. I had 4 shoes.
I'm sure you went through so many things, so it's okay.
Okay, great. We'll never know. We'll have to look at photos.
Yeah.
The hot days. I seem to really gravitate to Hokas. They work for me. The muff are good.
Okay. And when you look back at this whole event that you went through, what did Coco teach you that has nothing else in your life has so far?
Yeah, it's so cliche, but I'm sorry. That's how I'm going to have to answer. You can do so much more than you think you can. It really comes down to that. 250 miles. Yeah. That is so far to go. And with little sleep, and it was cold, and it was hilly, and it was muddy, and mentally challenging, physically challenging. But your body will surprise you, and you got to lean on your support system. My crew and pacers were amazing. amazing. I had great help out there. Training paid off, all the things, but it's really incredible. You think you go through hard things doing X, Y, and Z in your life, and then you're presented with this huge new mountain of a challenge, and you're like, how am I going to get through it? But you can. So it just confirms that what you think is impossible, it just keeps that boundary, that limitation just keeps getting pushed farther and farther. Yeah.
That's what the name of the podcast is. Pushing horizon step by step.
So true.
That's right. And also talking about the pacers, you said you had different pacers, so you brought your pacers with you. How was their role in terms of helping you, getting you up to the speed? Because it's hard running for so many days, and I know there are some sections of the trail where you are running by yourself and your pacers are not allowed. So what was their role in being like for you to be able to finish the whole race?
Again, so thankful. My pacers had so much work to do. They are angels. They did a lot. They helped at cruise stops. They were changing my shoes for me. So all I had to do is sit there and eat. And they're changing my shoes and socks. I can't believe they're touching my gross feet. They're repacking my bag, filling my bottles, putting gels in my pack, making sure I had the required gear, adding layers. And then when they're physically with me, they're just being positive and encouraging and trying to keep it fun, playing music, and navigating was huge. They were so helpful in just making sure we were on the right path. They were reminding me to eat, making sure I was drinking, and helping me if sometimes my hands are really cold, literally zipping up my rain jacket. They did so much out there. I am beyond grateful for them. Yeah.
Can we say it about your crew too?
Oh, sorry. I kind of combined.
Oh, okay. And so let's say that somebody is listening to right now. So like you, 100 miler is their sweet spot and they're thinking like, this Cocodona sounds interesting and I want to see if I want to do it. So what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, just take the plunge. If you're just a little bit curious, just go for it. You'll figure it out, even if that means you're literally figuring out in the race, because a lot of learning happens then. You're capable. My advice would just be, why not? Why not try? And then I think even if you don't make it, you'll be proud of yourself for taking that leap of giving yourself the opportunity to try it versus always the what if and the wondering. Just, give yourself the opportunity.
Beautifully said. I think these are the normal questions I had, but two more things left. One is this rapid fire thing. So you don't know the questions yet.
Great.
Yes. So first thing that comes to your mind. So it's just like a 10 stupid things,
okay,
right?
Great.
So whatever comes to your mind. All right. So hardest mile at Cocodona. What mile and why?
Sadly, the last mile, because walking was really hard. It got to the point where breathing was so challenging that walking was just too taxing on the body. So unfortunately, mile 255. Yeah, that was it.
Trail snack you never want to see again.
Ensures. It's a liquid calorie if you're not familiar with it. I think it's like even a meal replacement. Super high calorie. I need a break. I do not want to talk about it, think about it, see it. No, thank you.
One piece of gear that saved your life?
Ooh, actually, I need to work on my gear game. Great question. My answer, though, is just having extra layers. We weren't anticipating that cold, and I did overpack the layers, and I'm really thankful that saved me. Having what I thought was too many layers may have not even been enough layers. So, like, my extra layers that were not part of the required gear. Yeah.
Okay. Night or day when you run your best?
I am a morning runner. Yeah, the mornings.
One word your crew used to describe you.
Death. It's probably terrible. Wheezing. That's probably a better word. Like, you could hear me coming. You could just hear me wheezing.
Breathing.
Yeah.
The one song that's at mile 200.
Ooh, what? Gosh, now I'm mind blanking. But it's the Taylor Swift song. Matt, are you in here? Thank you. Thanks, my husband, Matt. Blank Space. Absolutely. Blank Taylor Swift. That's the one.
Biggest rookie mistake you saw someone make it out.
Or me, myself. Don't forget to fill up your waters. Such a silly, basic thing that you do in every single race. Yes, don't forget to fill up your waters.
Next big race on your list.
UTMB.
I was actually looking at that post today. I saw a lot of people doing it. Not me though. Looking at other people doing it.
One day. You never know.
I don't know. We'll have to. Yes, like you said, maybe one day. And finish this sentence. Ultras are just said.
Well, my instinct was just to say fun. I mean, at times they're not fun, but you said instant impulse, and that what came into my head. Fun. Yeah, I keep going back. Type 2 fun. A lot of type 2 fun. Yeah.
And so I ask this question to everybody who's been on the show, and everybody has different kind of answers. I usually post that as a clip. I would like you to finish this sentence for me, please.
These are fun.
Running has changed my life because.
Community. I have made so many friends through running. It's changed my life. I've met so many great people. We have so much fun together. I learn from them. They have become my support system. The community that I have found through running has changed my life. for
Yeah,
them.
that's what I found too, compared to road running versus the trail running. Like, we have never spoken before, right? So we were able to talk and get along. It was just nice to have conversation because you can relate to things even as a runner too. Like, you can talk and just, oh wow. And I think that was one of the reasons that drawn me towards ultra is because the community is nice and people are much more open and kind. Because when you run a marathon, don't even see hi or whatever, but when you see trail, it's just like a different kind of fun.
Yeah.
I think that was all the thing I had for today, and I really appreciate your time and doing this interview in from California, early morning, your time. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you and keep kicking ass because I know you're gonna be doing more and winning it. So I'll be rooting for you and looking at your results now. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you for your time. It's evening your time. And this was fun. I love talking about running. I love meeting new people. And you got running goals too. So good luck out there. I'll be rooting you on.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
11 more weeks, but it's high elevation for me because Berlin is not super hilly as well. So we'll see.
You'll get through it.
Yes, definitely. All right then. Yeah, thank you and see you next time.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Okay, bye. Hey everyone, thank you for making it to the end of the podcast. I hope you really enjoyed this conversation. I'll see you again next time with another guest. Until then, happy running.